Spectacular Spider-Man is the series that a lot of people consider to be one of the best adaptations of Spider-Man. Personally, I like parts of it, but I'm not overly fantastic and, off the walls about it. Certain things I could have a problem with. I didn't like what they did with Eddie Brock and his whole relationship with Peter and all the other. I found that to be really kind of ridiculous. I didn't like certain aspects of Peter's personality because they seemed to be trying to mesh something that wasn't going exactly how it was supposed to go. Mary Jane I found to be a little too flighty rather than, I understand how she was when she came in there. She wasn't serious about it or anything like that, but still seems to be a little thing in regards to that. Even the way that they dealt with Gwen, I wasn't 100% on board with. I will say that some of the villains, however, were done really well. Tombstone was done really good and all of that. So yeah, I will say certain things I really did like. Certain things I didn't love. All right, so I'm kind of on the when it comes to Spectacular Spider-Man, I might give it probably about a 60, maybe 70% in my book. Not absolutely fantastic, but it is good enough. It is really good enough. Well, it seems Disney, when they bought Marvel, decided, hey, you know what? We don't want that. So we're going to do everything we can to literally sabotage it so we could start making as much crap as possible. Because all those awful Spider-Man series that we got after Disney took over? Yeah, that was the reason. Let's dive into this article here from Bounding into Comics. The Spectacular Spider-Man lead says Disney actively worked against the series after buying Marvel. They made it hard to get an audience, because Disney wanted to do their own thing. That's what happened. Disney wanted to do their own thing, and this became a serious problem. While fans of the Spectacular Spider-Man have long lamented the fact that the absolutely incredible animated series was brought to an undeserving and premature end, they can now take at least a little bit of solace in the fact that per series lead voice actor Josh Keaton himself, its cancellation had nothing to do with its ratings and everything to do with Disney's corporate greed. Now, I will say that yes, the way that it ended, I did have a really, really big problem with that because it needed more. That's what I think it needed more to really kind of flesh things out and go. So that was one of my honestly big problems with it in regards to that as well. So yeah, that was one of my problems with it as well there. Keaton, who in addition to the series incarnation version of Peter Parker, has also performed such notable roles as Hal Jordan in Green Lantern, the animated series, Revolver Ocelot in Metal Gear Solid 3, and Hercules in Disney's animated series of the same name, offered his insight into the Spectacular Spider-Man's final fate during a recent appearance on the Tuned In with Jim Cummings podcast as hosted by the eponymous voice actor. Yep. Looking back on his time behind the mask, Keaton was at one point asked by the show's producer, Chris Judge, not to be confused with the God of War voice actor of the same name, as to how many years did that show last, which he recalled. I mean, we got cut short because that was right around the time that Disney was going to buy Marvel. Yep. So we did a season, it was critically acclaimed, it was getting great ratings, said the voice behind Marvel rivals multiverse hopping Iron Man, and then we were doing season 2, And while we were recording season 2, that was when Disney bought Marvel, and they basically never canceled us and never picked us up. They just never said anything. In adding insult to injury, Keaton then revealed that at one point they told us, you're going to be headlining our new network, Disney XD. But then when they put us on Disney XD, they showed the episodes out of order. They kept changing the time that it was going to air. They never really did any promotion. They made it hard to get an audience. Yeah, because like I said, Disney wanted to do their own thing. Disney wanted to make their own Spider-Man shows and push their agenda as hard as possible, because that Spider-Man show that did it, I don't even remember the name. It was so bad, so horribly bad. They had like Iron Fists and White Tiger. It was so horribly bad. I mean, my God, was it awful? Absolutely awful. Just like that Avengers crap that they did. Absolutely terrible. Or that Guardians of the Galaxy crap that they did. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. They wanted to do that, and they actively worked to just pretty much ruin Spectacular Spider-Man. That's what it was. Showing the episodes out of order, keep changing in the times. And you see what happened with it. You see what happened with it. This just fell apart. That's what I'm talking about here with Spectacular Spider-Man and the villains. I will say that Norman Osborn was really good in this. He played out his role as Green Goblin, and his madness and evil really well. Yeah, and you see no race swapping of Norman Osborn, because that wasn't beyond stupid. So you know that's what Disney does. Also, we went from being on network TV on Kids WB to a network that really at the time was only on like Dish Network, he told his host. If you didn't have Dish Network, you didn't have Disney XD. It was really obscure, so very obscure. Drawing his thoughts on the Spectacular Spider-Man to a close, Keaton took a moment to address the circumstances surrounding a possible series revival. Though sadly, rather than a glimmer of hope, the voice actor could only admit that such a return for Petey and his amazing friends was unlikely due to Disney's unwillingness to put the fans first and share even a small portion of the potential profit pie with Sony. Yeah, I mean, the thing about it. Again, another picture of Norman Osborn here, fake is that, and basically changes appearance and all kind of thing. Because like I said, the guy was really that evil, and he really did play that role well. This is why people tend to take more time and energy to go and watch these old cartoons or all kind of thing, rather than look at anything that comes out now. Honestly. Because I would rather watch this than that nonsense that they put out the other day with Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I would rather watch, like I say, I thought Spectacular Spider-Man was like maybe, about a 70%, maybe 75% good series. I could work with that. I would put friendly neighborhood Spider-Man with like 20. They would house it and I done, honestly. It's nonsense, but this is the thing. This is the thing. And in fact, that Disney is just absolutely unwilling to do anything. That's what you're going to get. People are always asking me, could it ever come back? Said the Spider-Man voice actor to the man who, interestingly enough, provided the voice of Shocker in the 1994 Spider-Man animated series. The thing is that Disney now owns the rights to the character of Spider-Man for TV, but Sony still owns the rights to the show, The Spectacular Spider-Man. So if Disney wanted to continue making it, they would have to basically pay Sony to license the show so they could keep making it. Why would they do that? They're like, we can just make our own show, which they ultimately did in the form of 2012 Drake Bell led Ultimate Spider-Man. That was the name of that crap, Ultimate Spider-Man. But you see, this is what happens with it. Disney doesn't want to learn. It's the same thing like what happened with Disney Plus. They had no business creating Disney Plus. They could have just partnered with Netflix and put out, unless incorporate the shows and continue to make some stuff there and make some money. But no, they wanted to do their own streaming, lost money by literally the billions now, all to make crap like Ultimate Spider-Man, when they could have continued something like Spectacular Spider-Man, or even go to Sony and say, listen, let's see if we could make an entirely new Spider-Man series now, base it around the comic books, let it be comic book accurate, instead of trying to make it as good as possible, the characters and everything like that. Let's do that. But no, it's not to say like it's difficult for Disney to do this. I mean, when you look at the character designs of some of these characters in games like Marvel Rivals, or even the new one that come out, the one that coming out soon. I think it's Marvel Token Fight or something like that. It need. When you look at that, and interestingly enough, one of the characters in the upcoming game that people actually seem interested in wanting to play is Miss Marvel. So that should tell us something. But all you have to do is go with the design, or design based as close as possible on those characters, and get people to actually write really good stories, really good things, and you could put something out there. It is not impossible. It is not impossible. You have access to these characters. You understand me? You have access to them. Spider-Man, Iron Man, Captain America, Black Panther, all these characters you have access to. The X-Men, Black Widow, Cloak and Dagger, all these characters you have access to. You understand me? I'm not going to say that you should do everything. Stick to the ones that are more well known and build good stories around them, and then you could try and incorporate others into there, and you could get something. But no, you would rather destroy everything because you want to push an agenda. That's all that Disney is doing. Pushing an agenda and ruining every freaking thing like a bunch of idiots. From there, asked by Judge, they never released Spectacular Spider-Man on Disney Plus either, right? Keaton affirmed they briefly did right when Across the Spider-Verse, which itself features a spoken cameo from his version of the wall crawler, was going to come out. They had it on there, but not without also speculating. I think that the reason they put it on there is that Netflix put it on there. Yeah, so that was their whole ridiculous reasons right there. God. His theory aside, Keaton closed out his time on the topic by reflecting on the series' subsequent performance with viewers. Sony put it on Netflix, and this show that had been absent from media all these years was like trending #1 on Netflix. He said it did amazing on Netflix. It brought a whole new generation of kids into the Spectacular Spider-Man. People want good entertainment. And I always tell people, if you want really good shows to watch, go back and look at what was done before. You will get some fantastic shows, because these nut jobs that they're hiring now have absolutely no idea how to make anything. Nothing. All they get hired to do is push their agendas. That's all. And then when that happened, Disney put it on Disney XD, but they still had the season finale and another thing out of order, concluded Keaton. They still never fixed it, and so they had it on the out of order. And then once the movie was out of theaters, it disappeared again. It's been Parker luck one time, one thing after the other. So yeah, Disney actively worked to destroy Spectacular Spider-Man because they wanted to make their own Ultimate Spider-Man nonsense and push that. And nobody, absolutely nobody, remembers Ultimate Spider-Man. I did not even I barely even remember the name. If I hadn't seen it, I would never know. Nobody cares. These shows were terrible. Like I say, Ultimate Spider-Man, the Avengers thing that they did, the Guardians of the Galaxy, they were terrible. They were all terrible, absolutely terrible, and you just won't stop. So there you have it, people. Disney actively did everything to sabotage Spectacular Spider-Man so they could push their own god awful spider nonsense onto people and then sit there and go, well, don't worry, I'll never love it. I'll never love it. That was the. So yeah, that's the nonsense that we got, people. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. If you have a different opinion, I'd love to hear it. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the notification bell to be notified every time I put out a new video. And I shall see you all next time. Take care.